Animals, not even AI could come up with. I'm not so sure. I don't think there's a Crocodillo Bombadillo in there. But anyway, this is by Casual Geographic. We're going in. Also, please consider liking, subscribing. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let's look some animal stuff after all that you know, funsy drama stuff. Let's go in. I'm curious which animals we're gonna see here.
Oh my god, what is that? Oh my god! What is that?
Isn't that just an alpaca? Isn't it just that? I think. Maybe, possibly, or a llama? Or something like that. Definitely, though.
This is what happens when you try to make a sequel without paying respect to the source material. Nature clearly tried to recreate the biological box office hit that was a giraffe, but on a budget. The result is an animal that 100% spawned a cryptid myth or 6. If the tall ones
What the fuck is that? That is literally just a miniature giraffe. A lot more freaky, though. No wonder the people believe in skinwalkers. Like, if something around like that was running around, right? If something like that was running around, I believe there was, I believe, you know, there would be skinwalkers as well, right? If that was walking around, one day we'll find a creature that was in Minecraft first. Looking into me, bro. Hopefully no creepers. That'd be terrible. No, the mushroom cow. We're gonna find the mushroom cow.
giraffe, and this is a rough draft. We don't talk about Geronux enough, and we really should, because explaining this animal to the wrong people in the wrong times would have been cause to have you lobotomized. And you know they're not AI, because Geronux can go their entire lives without drinking water.
Damn, they actually have some solid legs. Jesus. Wow. Whatever that is, well, yeah, it would either get you lobotomized, or in Europe, it'd probably get you burned, right? Fun fact, they burnt men and women, and depending on the location where you were during medieval time, not medieval times, actually modern times, per definition, depending on where you were more likely to be burned as a woman or as a man, in fact. Huh, funny.
Well, technically anybody can, but getting moisture from leaves and shoots means Geronux can live a full life without ever sipping water. Allen Iverson could never. You know what huskies look like after getting shaved? Well, Geronux look like an alpaca with alopecia.
Stop. Ew. I mean, dogs getting shaved already looks pretty terrible, I'll be real. Imagine prehistoric times when humans still discover new animals. Seeing a giraffe for the first time is crazy. Imagine what they must have thought once they saw the first, like, a mammoth for the first time. Right? And, like, the conclusion they came to is, yeah, we gotta kill that.
While also looking like a kangaroo doing a handstand. Go ahead, pause the video and squint, you'll see it eventually. But the Geronux is a gazelle.
Shit, I do. Shit, I do. Interesting. Foreshadowing.
With its closest relative likely being the one.
Okay, we have the gazelle, black buck, Oidorcas, or an anger, whatever. The Geronux, the springbok. Interesting, and then foreshadowing is the other thing, and then we have the Oribi. Anyways, I'm mispronouncing all of these. I'm not even gonna try, honestly.
You think of when you hear the word gazelle. Geronux are built different, literally structured abnormally. If you didn't know any better, you'd assume you saw something that rhymes with wind soccer. And the pose makes me think they inspired the freak deer that folded Finn from Adventure Time. But of course, the most uncanny feature is that pinhead. Nature had to give them buns of steel and iron quads just to act as a counterbalance. Why they didn't just give them a normal head? Well, that is beyond our comprehension. It is nice to know an animal built like a Wendigo still has decorum. I defy you to tell me this isn't a male Geronux holding down a branch for his girl. Ain't nothing artificial about this intelligence.
Hey, based. You know, he's taking care of his girl. Makes sense, absolutely. Very based. We're born too late to be knights and too early for Mars. But right on time for freaky gazelles.
Some stuff is just universal. There's really nothing like a Geronux, but there's a distant relative of theirs that's arguably more mythical. The Saiga looks like Narnia in the face, and that's saying something because I never—
What the fuck is that? What? Look at the nose! Bro got the nose of all noses. Well, and on the one side we have Clavicula getting a bad nose job. What can this thing do? It can't get a nose job. What the fuck? Is that just a... This is like, you take a moose, you take a goat, moose goat, goat moose. That's just a moose. Like the chubby nose and all. What the fuck?
Watch Narnia, but it feels right. The saiga is an editor, can we better. The saiga is an unusual and underrated antelope that used to populate the steppe in millions. That's actually why they have the NSFW nose. You see, that double barrel nostril situation was an adaptation to filter out dust kicked up by the massive herd.
This is divine punishment. What kind of sins did this animal commit? What kind of sins did its ancestors commit to end up like this? What the that's hammer nose. That's not a hammer nose, bro.
Same nose also cools the blood.
Bro, the devil wouldn't possess this goat. bro, this one can smell colors. It can smell sounds. That's crazy.
In the summer and warms up air in the winter before it gets to the lungs. It's a multi-purpose proboscis that makes them Antelope Alf, while also serving as a built-in mask. Yet that
it does look like Alf. It does look like Alf. I cannot unsee this anymore. Jeez, that's horrible.
mask couldn't save the saiga from its own pandemic, because in 2015 there was a mass outbreak of a bacteria that caused blood poisoning in the infected and killed 200,000 and erased 2/3 of the global population. But the Star Wars Extra has made a comeback, with their numbers rebounding from less than 40,000 in 2005 to today over 4 million, with Kazakhstan ecologists estimating that they'll hit
Sex! Intense sex! Smash! They were breeding. Damn. Live as a vacuum cleaner nose. What a shame. Bro. built to be a goat. Born to be a vacuum cleaner.
over 5 million by 2030. Thank the powers at play for that, because just imagine showing somebody this picture of an extinct animal and being like, yeah, this was taken all the way back in 2015. So if you needed to hear good news, you'll be happy to know the saiga is looking like it's here to stay. You might be less happy about this though. I've seen some adorable looking grasshoppers in my day. A smiling bugs-like paralysis demon is not one.
Yeah, nah, that's getting squashed. I'm sorry. That looks like fucking Bugs Bunny. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, nah, I'm not dealing with that. Hands. Throwing hands. I'm throwing hands.
Of them. To be fair, it's not a grasshopper, it's a katydid. Same insect order, different insects, and I hear they get real offended when you confuse them. This katydid belongs to the Copophora genus. A genus that looks like a sick joke, with members perpetually mocking you for it. There's not a single situation where a bug needs to look like this. And maybe it's partly my fault, because I can't look at this and not see two brick yellow teeth giving me the world's most devious smile. He's built like a Courage the Cowardly Dog plot device, Freaky Fred looking. That's my
freaky thing. Bro, it's looking... Bro, it even got like it got like straight up proper eyes. It's looking at you. It is literally smiling. This man is making fun. This is the type of thing that will make fun of you if you fall up the stairs. Yes, up, not down, up.
should get you put on the list. And the thing is, they're not just an assault on your sight. Giant katydids have the distinction of being one of the loudest insects on Earth.
Why does it open up like... Yeah, no, never mind. Never mind. I prefer a face hugger over this.
You know, I don't know everything, so I wasn't sure if that audio was edited or not. But after listening to other clips, I've come to the conclusion that, yes, this bug can, in fact, send a war veteran back to Vietnam.
Somebody call the Starship Troopers. Is that the stick from Bug's Life? Somebody call the Starship Troopers. We've got a bug infestation on this planet.
Vietnam with a touch of its wings. That wing rubbing is called stridulation, and it's not just an alarm clock for PTSD. Some katydids sound exactly like chirping birds. And just like birds, the call is mostly for attracting mates, and some male katydids will form boy band groups to sing together to help each other keep the rhythm, which is apparently a major turn on. And if you think the bugs show respect to the original IP, katydids came.
We got the Bug Street Boys. We got the Buck Street Boys. One Direction, but it's bugs. It's a gun bug. It's much bigger than I thought. That is... We got the Buck Street Boys. Anyways.
First, so the birds sing like them. And two, some katydids eat birds, so... Yeah, katidas let their nuts hang. Literally because, fun fact, cover your ears kids, but the largest testicles on the planet belong to these bush crickets. You don't have to believe me, you can Google it, and then you can explain your search history. Just know, there's not a single prompt you could give a computer that would lead to this. And that's the thing with AI. Nature's weird enough without people making stuff up, and this is the most AI-looking animal I've ever seen. Goats in general don't seem to be real, like
That's just aura farming straight up Buck Street Boys, indeed.
they're constantly testing what they can get away with in the Matrix, and the Markhor is no different. The Markhor genuinely looks mythical, with a reputation that actually precedes them. Their name translates to snake eater because of their habit of curb-stopping serpents and, predictably, eating them. At least according to folklore, and locals would collect the chewed cud of these goats, believing they could use it as snake anti-venom.
Well, he has, his girl is gonna be happy. This man has some strong tongue. This bro has some strong tongue muscle, some real tongue action going on. See, learn from him.
Also, the national animal of Pakistan is a lot bigger than you think, with males often getting to over 200 pounds, which is pretty big for an animal you've probably never seen before. And if you have, and this
Do they also have grooming gangs in the UK? Moving on.
Gandalf goat looks familiar, they were actually Thor's emotional support in Love and Thunder. The Markhor is a beautifully majestic specimen. Which is funny because if we were ducks, I'd literally have to censor that. Male Markhors use those iconic horns to battle cliffside for females. That and they were created a day Nature's ice cream machine came in. Whether it's them allegedly landscaping the snake population, their cinematic fights to the death, or just Markhor parkour, you gotta admit, this goat has more ore than anything an algorithm could come up with. Now this goat.
What the fuck is... Yeah, straight up, that's just an SCP. That's just what is that? What is that a goat? That doesn't look like a goat. That's some kind of freaky demon thing. Yeah, I'm getting the gun.
Holy freaks.
Now,
Now,
also got some huge balls.
I think every animal's beautiful in its own way, but that starts to change once people start playing God. And boy, did we...
Bro, that looks... that looks like... that looks like the average ball sack during the summer. Chat, this is what the average charge of being of goats shoot is. Abomination. This does look like the average ball sack during a sweaty swamp ass summer. That is what it is.
play God with this goat. We ruined them just like we did the powder pigeon. We fully pugged a goat, and weirdly enough, Damascus goats look almost normal as kids, only to get Pearl Harbored by puberty. They say for every ugly mug, there's at least one who'll defend it, so I'm still waiting for someone to defend the animal, literally built as Cusco's karma. This is the one time I wish it were AI, cause they look like their existence is constant pain. That is not—
I think they're... Anyway, what the fuck? Yeah, that is certainly a skull. Why are you looking at your balls? For comparison. For science. Because it's swamp ass water summer. That is just horrible. Look at that humongous underbite. Bro, what did they do? Yes, nah, bro. That's just failed human experiment right there. Bro, that is... If you showed me that skull, I would just think you found some alien. I'm sorry. Skinwalkers are real.
the skull of an animal that should have been afforded life. That, and this is now the third case of unnecessary censorship. Looking like Rocky Dennis's persona is even funnier when you realize a Damascus won a beauty pageant for goats, with Gar being named Most Beautiful Goat in 2008. And yes, those are the pictures PR went with. And I'm sure the goats are nice people and they didn't ask for this, but that's what human hubris does. It turns goats into Dark Crystal characters. That's a lot of effort just to get one-upped by nature. Like this. Not only—
This is not a real thing, is it? That's just the cat that fucked up. That's a fucking Cyclops. Cyclops, they exist. What the fuck?
is this real, but this cat and that shark have something in common. I see you all have questions and I'm gonna get to them, starting with the biggest one. Why do you know the things that you know? You should have been asking yourself that after I brought up bush cricket cojones. People ask me how I know so much about animals and even why I'm so into them in the first place, and I don't know, but the answer is likely undiagnosed and very undermedicated. It's really nothing for me to spend hours, even days, going down the rabbit hole of my fixation of the week. It's when it's time to sit down and make the video and retrace the rabbit hole. Yeah, I waste a lot of time that way. That's why I feel pretty good about today's sponsor, Opera. Don't touch the mouse. Now see, that's—
Do not do the opera. And with that I mean the opera VTuber. Yes, opera as a VTuber. Yeah, it's not real. I don't believe it. If it were, that would be really funny though, honestly. Hi, Fran. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Do a face real. That's what you look like. Ugly hairball animal. Is that projection? You careful. You look like a hairy cheese ball. Yes, you're still as yellow, and you're moist. You smell like wet lizard. Anyway, Zoom.
Actually the problem. We're in an attention recession. Luckily, Opera can help with that. Opera's a web browser with features I honestly wish I had around in college. Features like Tab Islands. Tab Islands lets you group your tabs by theme or project. And if you're one of those coordinate the colors of your folders based on the class students, you'll appreciate Tab Islands letting you do the same. By the way, we can agree, math is red, science is green, and English is blue, right? Right? But my favorite is tab traces, because we've all been there, sitting in front of a screen with 20, 30, I think my career high is like 46 tabs open at once. And when I'm retracing my internet steps, tab traces are like breadcrumbs.
Damn, bro is giving Kirsche a run for her money. Because, no, I think Kirsche actually has way more tabs open.
Because the darker the underscore of a tab, the more recently you visited that tab. That feature has saved me hours. There's also split screen where you can have 4 tabs visible at once. I usually just do 2, but if you can make 4 work, all power to you. But 4 is good for when there's a breaking story and I want to cross-reference multiple articles. Now music's important to me because often while I'm researching and especially writing, I'm listening to the exact song I plan on playing in that video. And with the player feature, you can detach the music and float it around to control it without clicking back and forth and speed bumping your workflow. So whether you're a student, creator, or just chronically online, there's at least something for you on this browser. The link will be in the description if you want to see for yourself. Shout out to Opera for sponsoring this video, but more so shout out to Opera for sponsoring my recreational rabbit hole habit, cause this was one hell of a rabbit hole to go down. You are looking at a rare albino cyclops found inside the stomach of a pregnant dusky shark. He looks like a petrified Agent Plecky from Lilo and Stitch. Actually no,
There's no way that's fucking real. The cat isn't. But if that's real, that's crazy. That is so yeah, I can't generate that. I'm sorry.
He looks like one of those disgustingly hyper-realistic frames from SpongeBob. You know exactly what I'm talking about. This deformed fetus is a result of one of the freakiest defects in nature. Holoprosencephaly is a rare condition where the brain of a developing embryo fails to separate into 2 distinct halves, instead forming one mass. Obviously, this causes a laundry list of problems, and psychoplia means one eye gets stuck right in the middle. It's the same condition afflicting this kitten. Unfortunately, this condition has been described as being incompatible with life, which is a really dramatic way of saying you're basically born in past tense. But the weirdest part is HPE is caused by a mutation in the Sonic the Hedgehog gene. Don't laugh, I'm serious. In the early stages, it's this gene and the Sonic the Hedgehog protein that separates the eye field into 2 separate eyes. And maybe that's why the Speed Freak has 1 eye with 2 pupils. Oh god, I'm sorry, take it back. Oh, also humans can get holoprosencephaly too. I'm just not putting those pictures anywhere.
Yeah, that'd be kind of freaky. No way. That's just so freaky. Ugh. Move on.
Near this video. But yeah, the shark's real, but incredibly rare. That's not its base form. Not like this though. This is platypus levels of nonsense. The star-nosed mole is proof that people will let nature get away with anything so long as it's small enough, and so long as it spends most of its natural life underground. The mole looks like it sneezed while
Yeah, I put this under the ground either way, right? But fun fact, having molds is actually a sign that the soil is healthy. If there are no molds, that means the soil isn't healthy. So actually, gassing these dudes is actually not a good idea. They are actually a sign that your ecosystem's healthy. Of course, the molehills aren't particularly that fun, but still.
Constipated and prolapse from the other end, and those 22 facial flesh fingers or tendrils are freakishly sensitive. Where your hand has 17,000 touch receptors, Starfish Face has 100,000 on its nose.
Bro, if you touch this, he just gets an instant orgasm. You show me a picture of a creature with ears growing on their leg. I call it BS, same with Cyclope Eye. Well, apparently that is real. The problem is just they're not surviving this. Apparently it's real, they are just not surviving it.
Making it the most sensitive touch organ in the animal kingdom. It's so sensitive, Cthulhu's pet can decide whether or not something's food in 8 milliseconds, and actually eat it in as little as 120. Meaning, it's a Lovecraftian mole that eats faster than any other animal on Earth, while essentially maxing out on reaction time. And since most moles eat their weight in food a day, star noses are in a constant state of binging. This mole would genuinely end all life on Earth. if only it weren't 1/8 of a pound. Not only because they would eat entire ecosystems into collapse, because there'd be no way of escaping them. Not only are they speed-eating earthbenders with the internal discernment of a vacuum, they can swim and breathe underwater. Okay, not really, but they can smell underwater, and they do it by blowing air.
Bro, I'm glad it is as small as it is. I'm quite glad this guy's as small as it is because, bro, first of all, he would eat us all. And second of all, this man can swim and smell on the water.
Air bubbles to trap molecules that mix with the air inside before inhaling the bubble and, by extension, the trapped molecules. This means a diving mole can sniff out prey while underwater and even aim air bubbles at a specific target. And did I mention they do this blind? But somehow there's more because this creature can smell in stereo. The same way you would compare differences in sound between
Smell in stereo. It can smell sounds. What do you mean? What do you mean it can smell in stereo? Bro, he's not mono.
the left and right ear to pinpoint the source, moles can do with their nostrils. Star moles are just a bunch of randomly broken skills and powers packed into a flesh flower faced fur termite. If you can't say that 5 times fast, you better like this video. But you've definitely heard of star-nosed moles before. As a palate cleanser, there you go. The cutest animal you've never seen. Because if I saw it, I wouldn't just think it was AI. I think it was bad Photoshop. How else does one explain a panda, leopard, meerkat ferret? Well, the last part's a hint. The marbled polecat is a mustelid, not unlike honey badgers, otters, and wolverines, albeit a little smaller. They're not even the only type of polecat, but they are the one that looks the most like animated taxidermy. They're the only ones that dress like a mother of four in divorce court. Marbled polecats stand out, and that might be the point. It's believed a defensive polecat will aggressively flash their colors as a warning. Not that they're venomous, but their attitude is. That and polecats will take a page out of their skunk cousin's playbook and crop dust a threat with foul-smelling anal secretions that reek of the dead.
So they're essentially just like a cute skunk. Basically, when someone is blind, they can sharp different senses. So that, yeah, it's pretty much. This is a stinky little guy.
Also, polecats might be more of a stereotype than honey badgers, as they're hyper-aggressive and regularly attack animals many times their size. This is the same calico ferret that made Ukrainian soldiers evacuate from a bunker.
Як його витягнути, блях? Він ж кусається, що ли? Так понятно, що він зараз працює.
Bro is trying his best. He is trying his best, okay?
Ох, блядь, диви, він хоче напасти.
You know how insane you have to be to bite the ground out of frustration? Someone tells Zigzagoon it ain't that serious? Well,
Hey, it's like Zigzagoon.
considering the loaded skunk shot, it actually might be. And on the topic of smell, last but not least, alright, so not AI, but
What is that? What is that? What is that? What? Huh?
either that is a cartoonishly tiny truck, or binturongs are a lot bigger than I thought they were. This mammal casserole is also called a bearcat, but in truth, they're not either. They're in suborder Feliformia, meaning they belong to the cat half of order Carnivora. And in Feliformia, binturongs are in the section that is the least
So they're cats, but they're not?
talked about. In fact, I could make a part 2 based on vivarids. Not a vivid ferret, you got your turn. Vivarids also include civids, like the one whose poop goes in coffee, and genids, which are cats nature drew left-handed. And it's the binturong that is the biggest vivarid, and with some females weighing
Why does he look high? He looks high.
nearly 80 pounds, they are in fact way bigger than I thought they were. I was not expecting a sloth bear from the back. So not a bear or a cat, but this black sentient bath mat can climb, and they have a prehensile tail to help them do it. Which is why you'll probably smell them before you see them. It's true, a binturong bathroom break smells identical to hot buttered popcorn. A smell they use as a warning to rivals, but also as an invitation to the amorous. So if you're in the jungle and randomly smell a movie theater, you might be in the presence of a bear cat. Or death. Since, yeah, tiger urine also gives fresh butter. In fact, that's probably why the binsies evolved to smell like that. Wait, that's not... Wait, no, can someone fact check me on that? I just made that up, but it sounds real. Is that the reason why? Despite being built like a Mandela effect and half the population swearing they didn't exist a couple years ago, bearcats are part of the most primitive group of feliforms,
I would literally just keep that one as a pet.
meaning they're closer to being beta cats, despite them looking like nature hasn't unlocked them yet. I can make that joke. I've earned it. Just a chuckling, tree-climbing Frito warrior. They also smell like Fritos. Raccoon, monkey, lemur, bear hybrid that can procrastinate and postpone pregnancy until the outsides are favorable. Also, the babies are called binlets, and I like that. And that's gonna do it for this video. I definitely left some animals off, so if this gets, I'm greedy, 220k likes, I'll do a part 2, but until then, drink water, hug your mother. Remember, reality will always mock fiction, and I'ma see y'all in the next one.
I don't know. Can reality mog Lord of the Rings? I am unsure. Well, that was interesting. The bug was the worst thing in this list. Like, swear to God, just outright the worst thing. Though the Cyclops fish was also pretty freaky. Smell like a tiger and nature is a flex. True. That kinda is. Anyway, freaky animals. We'd love to see it.